Hi and welcome back to the channel. This is Rideshare Buddy UK and my name's Kevin. Today is Wednesday the 19th of March, middle of March, so it's time for my monthly roundup of what's happening in the EV charging world. And a couple of good pieces, big pieces of news. One from Ionity, the other from Arnold Clark Motors, would you believe it? So let's have a quick look at that, but first of all, let's drive down to Swansea Ionity and check out that new EV charging station which opened a couple of months ago. So we'll carry on once we get to Swansea Ionity. Okay, here we are. We're at the Village Hotel at Swansea, where the Ionity are. We'll have a look at those in just a moment. But the stats are 24% battery, 60 miles left, and 9 degrees C. So let's plug in and see what we're going to get. Okay, so we've hit, 65 kilowatts straight away. I expect that to go up a little bit faster. It's 9 degrees C, 350 kilowatt chargers. My experience is that will go up to about 110, 120 kilowatts once the battery starts to warm up. But let's pop outside and have a look at these chargers. Right, so these chargers are at the the Village Inn Hotel. Nice Starbucks there, so I'll head there shortly. Let's have a quick look at what we have. We have the two 200 kilowatt chargers there. We have two 50 kilowatt chargers there, the black boxes. I do like the look of those 50 kilowatt chargers. Then we have four 350s, another four 350s. So that's 8 350 kilowatt chargers, two 200 kilowatt chargers, and two 50 kilowatt chargers. So what is the latest news for EV taxi drivers? Pricing is pretty much the same, not much change at all. The best deals are Tesla with their subscription of that. I think it's $8.95 a month, getting you prices from 25p a kilowatt hour up to about 57p a kilowatt hour, depending on the time of day and the location. But generally you're looking at about 35-37p off peak and about 46p peak time. So not too bad. Those are probably about the best prices you're going to find. Next one is Ionity, where I'm at. If you get their Power Plus Passport membership, $10.95 a month, no, $10.50 a month. That gives you charging at 43p a kilowatt hour. So that's pretty good. That's the best one. After that, if you're a if you're a Uber driver, you can get free BP membership. That's a Pulse membership, which is about $5.95 a month or something like that. And you also get a 20% discount on pricing, so it goes from 62p a kilowatt hour down to 49p a kilowatt hour. Those are the three memberships you want as an EV driver, driving a taxi and doing long distance. That should pretty much cover you for 90% of all your charging, and it's all at predominantly 50p a kilowatt hour or below, so that's not too bad at all. Now, Ionity have just announced Ionity Fleet. So if you're a private hire operator and you have a fleet of cars which you've got to cover the fuel cost of, you can now get Ionity Fleet, which gives you all of your drivers a card or an app access, but it's all centralised into your own dashboard, and you can compartmentalise all of the charging on things like your different accounts. Like you might have a separate account for airport, separate account for account work, separate account for school work. You can all compartmentalise it all, and that gives you your 43p a kilowatt hour as Uber Fleet, as Ionity Fleet, which means I would imagine that Ionity pumps are going to get pretty busy with corporate cars, because it's going to be the best deal and it's going to really work well and integrate with their accounting software. So expect Ionity to get pretty busy over the next few months. However, that said, at the moment, Ionity has 375 ultrachargers out in the country. When they announced Ionity Fleet, they also announced the fact that this year they'll be increasing their number of superchargers by 500. So they're going to more than double their supercharger stations in this coming year. So that's good news. So that's Ionity news over. One of the big news stories for me that I found really interesting is we are about to get a new national coverage of a charging provider. That charging provider is going to be Arnold Clark showrooms. Car dealership showrooms are going to become supercharger hubs. Now they have 100 showrooms spread across the country. Their plan, they've announced, is to have 500 150 kilowatt chargers spread across those 100 showrooms. So the smaller showrooms will have maybe 2 or 3 superchargers. The larger showrooms will have up to 8 superchargers. The most interesting thing about this is it's going to be tap and go. There's going to be no membership, and the pricing has been announced at 55p a kilowatt hour. So that's going to pretty much be the cheapest tap and go that you're going to get anywhere in the country, and price comparable with membership type of chargers. So 55p a kilowatt hour, it's heading towards that 50p a kilowatt hour, which is when I think people are really going to start looking at converting to EVs, because that 50p a kilowatt hour, it's equivalent of maybe around the 55 miles per gallon type of cost of charging. And 150 kilowatt chargers, which Arnold Clark are going to be installing, not the fastest of superchargers, but certainly adequate to get most cars pretty much topped up to 80% in 30 minutes or less. So not too bad at all for that. So that's a new supercharger network to look out for. If you've got an Arnold Clark in your locality, expect to see superchargers coming online in the next year or two. So let's have a look at some news from overseas. Let's look at China. It's where it's all happening, and BYD have announced that they are going to start installing their 10C batteries into their cars for China, possibly bring them to the UK at some stage in the future. But our charging network is not up to scratch and cannot cope with a 10C battery. 10C battery means that they can charge at 10 times the capacity of their battery, or to put it into more understandable terms, these cars are going to be charging at 1,000 kilowatt chargers, which BYD are going to start installing across China this year. What that means is about 250-260 miles into the battery in under 5 minutes. That's where China's going. Meanwhile, we're spending £55 million of public money, your money, my money, on 7 kilowatt chargers. How backward is this country have to go before somebody decides, let's try and go a little bit forwards instead of backwards? But as the BYD chairman said, their aim in China is to make their cars as fast and as convenient and as easy to charge as a petrol car. And they're achieving it right now, right today, while we go backwards to the horse and cart and 7 kilowatt chargers. So expect to see 1,000 kilowatt chargers up in China. Expect to charge a car up in 5 minutes in China. Meanwhile, in the UK, we have to wait 6 hours for our public chargers at 7 kilowatts. Yeah. Surely somebody somewhere in politics, not just national government but also local government who control of planning, will wake up and decide we're too far behind the rest of the world and we need to book our ideas up. One of the things we need to do in this country is, it doesn't have to cost money, public money, to get these ultra fast chargers in place. We need to change planning. Look how quickly we've managed to get 5G mobile phone networks rolled out across the country. A year, 18 months. And that was done because 5G masts were exempt from planning permission. It was automatically assumed to be passed, and they've just got on with installing those 5G masts. That's what we need to do with ultra-fast chargers, exempt them from planning. So the companies who can do it and will install them without recourse to the public money, like Ionity, like Tesla, like BP, they've got the funds, they'll pay for it to be installed. They just need the opportunity to get it installed without things being held up for a year, 18 months, tens of thousands of pounds in planning fees. Just write off the planning, just tear up the planning permission, make them exempt, then a national infrastructure requirement, get them built. That's all it needs to happen. Doesn't need to cost millions of pounds of public funding. Just needs a page of planning to be torn out and set fire to, and we're going to have ultra-fast chargers. So that's a roundup for today's or this month's EV charging network. Brand new national charging network coming from Arnold Clark. Very affordable at 55p kilowatt hour without membership. Still a little bit expensive, but certainly coming down to the levels that need to happen for people to change en masse from petrol to EV. We're getting there, very close there now. We need to get rid of planning conditions so that other companies can come in, the low-cost companies can come in and get these fast 150, 200 kilowatt chargers installed across the country, especially in parts of Wales. Terrible coverage in Wales for EV chargers, for ultra chargers. Pricing pretty much stable. Still the three main ones as an Uber or taxi driver, which is Ionity, Tesla and BP. What you've also got is Eon at 62p. So these new Arnold Clarks are going to beat Eon, which are pretty much the cheapest non-membership ultra chargers around. Eons are normally around 300 kilowatt chargers. Arnold Clarks are going to be 150, but the price difference. And most cars at the moment can't charge at 300. They're going to be perfectly suitable at 150 kilowatts. So the other one that competes with Eon and is still a little bit more expensive than the Arnold Clark ones are Lidl's. Now Lidl's tap and go payment is 75p, but if you've got Lidl's app, connect up your app to your bank account and charge through the app, and it's 62p a kilowatt hour. So those are emergency backups, Lidl's, Eon. Looking forward to the Arnold Clark ones. That's going to help. But generally, it's all stable, but the future is bright. New 500 chargers from Ionity coming online this year. So that's quite good. So the location of this Ionity Swansea, not great for road tripping down the M4. It's quite central to Swansea, so great for Swansea users. Great for when I'm picking up in Swansea and around Swansea, the Mumbles and the like. But it's too far away from the motorway to be of use as a en route stop, charging stop. It's 15 minutes from the motorway, 15 minutes off the motorway, 15 minutes back on the motorway, plus your charging time. Too long, won't compete against the likes of Tesla at Carmarthen at the end of the motorway, or Tesla Bridgend, which is slap bang on the motorway. But for when I pick it up actually in the Swansea itself, really useful place to charge up at. And I think I have to go and check to see if I need to pay car parking, because again we got this during the day you have to pay car parking, but there's no actual signs on the pumps. Let's pop out and have a quick look at the signs that's spread around the car park. That's okay. Found a parking tariff. 4 hours is free, and then 4 to 24 hours £5. So free parking while you charge up. I wonder if that's the same thing at the hotel, the village hotel over at Bristol, where they've got the Ionity station. Is it free parking there for 4 hours as well? I'll have to check into that. But over here, 4 hours, plenty of time to charge up and have a coffee. So that's it for today's roundup of EV charging news. I'm off to Starbucks for a coffee. I've got another half hour to wait on the charging up. It does seem to be quite slow charging. We're down to 40 kilowatts. I'd have thought it'd get a little bit faster as it warms up the battery, but it is a little bit chilly outside. That's it. Thanks for watching. Till next time, safe driving.